We are live.
Oh my god. Hi everyone, my name is Chris. You might know me from Aztec Spring. I also I guess was a helper on Kelly's website a little bit for um I'm also a co-writer of Blissful the series. It's our new series that just premiered on September 30th. And I'll hand it over to Kelly and the adorable baby right there.
So everyone knows me. I'm Kelly. I did vlogs before with Westlake, but this is Patrick. He wouldn't nap, so he's going to join us. I co-write with Chris on Blissful. A lot of people, we've already kind of stated why we decided to do a co-series, and we're actually really excited about it. Life got busy for both of us, and this seemed to be a good way to do creative juices and actually continue writing without pressure and responsibility of it all being on one person. And so far it's worked out very well. I guess I'll start off. One of the things that I did on Westlake was we had a theme song for each episode. The theme song for this episode was This Is Home by Switchfoot. And I know people are going to go, Switchfoot, why'd you pick Switchfoot? Yes, they're a Christian band. The lyrics on the song really spoke to me about what was going on. There was a few scenes in the show where people were coming to town, were in their homes. Really, the opening, we wanted it to feel that certain people were coming home, or they were coming to where they belonged, and that was really what This Is Home is all about from Switchfoot. So that's kind of why we picked it, or I picked it, I guess. One of the things you'll notice with Blissful is that we're going to be using a lot of very different music. Chris and I have very different tastes, but it works very well when we write together and when we pick a song for the episodes. You'll see a good mix of our different styles and our different tastes, and I think that's very interesting. So I'll go ahead and we're actually going to talk about the episode now and kind of how it all came together, and I'll hand it back over to Chris.
Okay, as you guys know, if you've read the first episode, Rory stumbles upon a body, and that body is a big piece to the Blissful puzzle. And the way we wanted it to go, we wanted this to be a slow burning story where it stretches out through the entire season. And this is just the beginning of what you'll see with Rory finding the body. It's not so much about Rory at all. It's more about the body. And it was an ironic twist that Rory found this body, and as you see a little later in the episode with Tony and Lowell, they kind of discuss, like, is it something, and is it this, and is it that, and it builds up suspense on what's exactly going on with this body, who is this body, exactly who's this young woman that they found in their lake, I guess you'll call. And I feel like it's just the beginning, and I really want you guys to watch that storyline because it leads to the bigger arc of exactly what is Blissful about. And I'll pass it over to Kelly now.
Scene 2 was Jackie and Jackson. Another thing that we should probably tell you all is that Chris and I write different characters on the show. There's a complete cast list on the website that you can look at. So the series is co-written RPG style, where he actually writes a character and I write a character, and it all comes together to mold into the episode. Oh, you're going to share too? Patrick's currently going to share his viewpoint on this. Mom takes a lot of time writing when he's napping. Jackie, I really wanted to show that she used to be a former actress, and so now her life revolves around her husband and her kids. And I thought that was really important to show that she really gave up her dream, so to speak, to actually become a mom. And I relate to that now, in case you guys haven't noticed. It's actually really easy for me to write Jackie. The scene with her and Jackson, where Jackson, I'll let Chris talk about it in a little bit, he's an addict. And so he came home in the episode and he surprised his mom. And I think it was important to show that, it was cold in here, that Jackie loves her kids, no matter what they do or what they've done. And that was important for me to come across. In a lot of series, I see the moms as, oh, it's cold in here, bitchy, or I guess not loving their kids. And that was something I really wanted to show, that you can do it and write it well and still have a character out of it. All right. Chris is going to talk about Jackson a little bit, just to give you an insight into his character. So
Jackson is sort of like the destructive force in the Devonshire family. He's coming back with his head on kind of straight. And that means that now Jackson has to prove himself to not just himself, but his family. He's disappointed a lot of people in his family, especially his father. And I think he feels like his mother is very disappointed also in him. I think those are feelings that he has in there. So he has this duty to prove himself to his family now, which is why he's starting the music label, something that he actually does love. And I feel like Jackson is our leading man in a way, because in many ways he's dangerous, yet he's vulnerable, and he's loving, yet he's confined inside of his own vices. And I really like to play with that aspect of him, where his vice takes over his love and his love takes over his vice, and vice versa. He's a very yin and yang character, and I love that about him. And I'll throw it back. Is it on me, Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it on,
it's
on me? Oh, okay.
It's fun doing it live.
Okay, the next thing would be Chauncey, Ophelia, and Logan, which you got to see a little bit of the dirty do on there between Chauncey and Ophelia, and Logan found out. That scene was really fun for me and Kelly to play, and they have a tremendous amount of fun, more scenes coming up. And what I'm going to say about Chauncey and Logan, they're our torture couple. We put them through everything and more, I think. It's really
True.
trying. It's really trying with that couple, where they go through everything. And Ophelia isn't a spoiler. She's something that's there. She's not just a spoiler or the triangle, a typical triangle. She's something that is of value in their relationship. In many ways, in my opinion, without Ophelia, Logan and Chauncey might not be around right now. You know, he probably would have been divorced her. So, with that aspect being in play, I feel like Ophelia and Chauncey have a way more chemistry and connection than what Logan and Chauncey does. And you're going to see that dynamic shift and change and turn, and it's really going to be a fun story to watch out for coming up. It's actually one of our cornerstones of the series right now. So I really want to see what fans and readers' opinion about Chauncey, Ophelia, and Logan are. And I'll let Kelly talk a little bit about Chauncey, because she does write him, and I write Logan and Ophelia.
Chauncey's a jerk. Alright, let me just preface this, that I think every soap or story or show really needs that shady gray character. What are you doing? And I think Chauncey fits that. He's not, yes, he's cheating on his wife and having this affair, but he really wants to be a family man and a good parent and a good father to Madeline, too, which is Logan and Chauncey's daughter. And the interesting thing that I liked about the triangle when we discussed it and presented it was that all the characters on the show, none of them are 100% bad or 100% good. They all have shades of gray. And that was really important for me to write with Chauncey, was that he is a little bit of both. He's not totally bad, he's not totally good, but he has shades of gray, and like a human, he's faulted. And like Chris, I'm excited to see how fans are going to react to the triangle and kind of see. Apparently, Patrick agrees with that, and kind of see what they want from it. There's a lot of different ways Chris and I can go with it. We of course have our plans, but we always want to take into account what the fans want to somewhat. So anyway, I like Chauncey. He's a jerk.
And we also, I just want to throw this in there because Kelly writes the other part of, I guess it would be a quad in a way too. Ophelia's married, and she's married to David,
Devin,
a cop character, and it's just gonna be really good, and we really want you guys to hold on to your hats and watch this story unravel because it gets better. It gets way better. And we're gonna pass it to Kelly and Patrick.
Patrick's opinion on that.
Two thumbs up, Pat.
Scene 4 was, is it Lowell? I call him Lowell.
I call him Lowell. I guess it's different where you're at. You know,
whatever, every time I remember Lowell, anyway.
Call him different.
Guess you do Lowell.
Okay.
Anyway, I wrote, Lowell and, Lowell and Tony's scene, I guess. Rory is actually arrested for drinking in public after he finds the body. And, the cops haul him into the station, and in scene 4 we get a glimpse of... Take that. We get a glimpse of their friendship in the boardroom, and I really like that we show the business side of what they do there. If you guys don't know, the Devonshires in the story, they're kind of like the Stark family from the Avengers. And I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. We wanted something totally different for a career path for our main family. We've seen a lot of different shows do a lot of different stuff, and Chris and I were talking, we're like, well, you know, what if they were involved in electronics and government weapons and all this other cool stuff that we could actually have lays to the storyline afterward. The story for seasons and seasons on end. And we felt that was an important thing. And if you notice in scene 4, apparently Baby's going to talk about it too, they both get really nervous when Anderson, who calls them, tells them that they found a body in the lake. And there's a mention of a woman named Tess McNeil that comes up. And as Chris said, it does tie into the mystery of who was in the water. We can't give away a lot to it, but it's very main in our first season, and we really wanted to focus on that, and both of them get very nervous. I enjoyed writing the scene. I kind of took Tony on. Tony is a recurring character that Chris and I were both originally going to write, and after I wrote this scene with him, I decided I really wanted to keep him. He's very different from a lot of the other lawyers I played. He's got kids, and it's very grounded, and I really liked him, so.
Are you passing it, Kelly?
Yes, I'm passing it.
Okay, the next scene, I believe, is Hunter and Max. One of our twins, Max, is the divalicious daughter, only daughter of Lowell and, Jackie, and she's married. She's building this amazing career with being an actress. She's modeled, and now she's eloped secretly without telling her family with her childhood sweetheart, Hunter. Chauncey's her brother. I'm sorry, Hunter. And it's a growing, I think, relationship where they've been with each other, but they have never been with each other as adults. And I feel like as adults, they both have grown into two different people. But the love that they had since childhood has now pushed them back together. And I think that's the dynamic that they're fighting with at this very moment. And he's like, in the episode, he's like, you can't just take this script, you can't take this film, we're married. Could you at least discuss it with me? And she's like, I'm the actress. I'm smart. I want a career. I don't want to be just like my mother. And Kelly talked about that aspect of Max. And what I love about their relationship is that they have a really big tie to our younger adult core, which I feel like we meshed them all together well. Jackson, was the ladies man in high school and the bad boy. Max was the queen bee. Danny was the outcasted girl, and Whitney was the weird, quirky girl, I guess you would say, in high
Yeah.
school. And Ryan was the rich boy who rebelled against his richness. And it's like we can almost have a prequel with Blissful when they were in high school. Because
True, we
I'm
could.
assuming that their lives in high school was just as dramaful as their lives now. But it just goes to show you that some people in this community haven't grown past high school. They still feel like they're in some of these roles that they were. Like Max still feels like she's the queen bee of town, and Danny still feels like an outcaster. And I really love that feeling that we wanted to give that in that scene with Max and Hunter. Just that little glimpse that they haven't grown up that much from where they've been,
Yeah.
where they were years ago. And I'll let Kelly talk a little bit about Max because I play Hunter.
Um, I really was nervous to write Max, and Chris knows this. I've never played bitch well.
She
It's
does
just
psycho good.
it's not my personality. I'm normally very, very relaxed, very easygoing, and so I really had to dig deep. And one of the spins I put on Max was her biggest fear is that she'll end up like her mom. And I know Chris really praised me for that when we wrote it, that he didn't expect me to throw that little, sorry, when my baby step, that little bit about her in there. She's very scared about ending up like Jackie, where Jackie has no career and she's married to Lowell, and she honestly sees, I think, her and Hunter in that role of Hunter wants to take over her dad's company and be this huge executive, and she wants to be this actress, and she's afraid of losing a part of herself, I guess you'd say. I really like that, like Chris said, that a lot of the characters, season 1 is really about, I would say, growing up. I guess that's a good way to put it. A lot of the characters have to grow up out of these rural society, and really their mental state has put them in. And that was something we really wanted to show, was that, again, season 1 is really a build up to everything that'll happen later in this series, and the stigma of Jackson being the bad boy from high school and still kind of being that way, and Max being a queen bee, and the awkwardness of Danny in society, and Whitney being quirky and just weird and awkward. It really plays that a lot of these characters, when they start at the beginning of the show, give me a minute.
Technical difficulties, guys.
Apparently meltdown child. A lot of the things that we wanted was to show is that life is all part about growing up, and ooh, meltdown. He's very upset by this. Life's about growing up and moving past, I guess you'd say, high school and pettiness. We really wanted to showcase that well, so that's what we are going to do. I will give it back over to Chris real quick for the next part.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I'm supposed to talk about that. Unless you want it.
I'll talk about it.
Alright.
Okay, the next scene, I believe, is the police station scene that you'll see, which is really a cool little moment. You actually are introduced to a character I mentioned earlier, Devin Thompson. Excuse me. And Devin is Ophelia's husband, doom, 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 and he does not know about the affair. And you also meet John, and Johns are also one of our leading men. John is a stock hater of everything that is Devonshire. He is the type of guy who's down and dirty. He'll fix your car. He'll help you out. He's been in the military. He's dealt with his sister's drug abuse, and she also has a very surprising other connection to the canvas later down the line. He's dealt with a lot of stuff that goes on with the town and the Devonshires, and he was around also when Jackson was playing King B and Max was Queen Bee, so he knows how the Devonshires, basically the kids, the younger generation, ran the town ragged, so to speak, you know. And he really doesn't like the Devonshires and anything that their opulence and their richness stands for. That they can pay their way out of whatever. They can just get their way out of some certain things. So you got to see John doesn't really like Lowell or the Devonshires. You also get to see Lowell flex his muscles a little bit, which I enjoyed a lot. He's like, get my son out of here, or else I'm gonna make y'all life hell. And Rory's like, they release him because they know he'll do it.
Yes.
You know, he's a billionaire. And like Kelly said, we didn't really want Lowell to be a fashion, no offense to anything of that genre, but we found a lot of web serials have fashion and have certain aspects will be incorporated into the serial, but we just wanted a different kind of patriarch, and we got that with Lowell, and it in turn changed their whole family in many ways. He's a shipping magenta. He's an electronic businessman. He's a modern day Bill Gates. He's a web serial Bill Gates. Okay, and mixed with a little Tony Stark, and we really wanted to show that a man who has this much power would be able to walk into a police station and say, "Give me my child, or else I'm going to sue the hell out of you all, and I'm going to make your lives miserable." And he wouldn't go to jail for threatening a police officer either. You know, we will. I mean, you know, those are the things we really wanted to show with that story, with that little moment, that little scene. And I'll pass it to Kelly.
Yeah, I can
or
do the
do
next
you want
one.
to say something about that scene?
I really like Devin. It's the
It was
first.
fun writing that one.
It's the first time that you really get to see John and Devin, and one of the things I really wanted to do in this series was have smart cops. I really think a show needs smart cops. I hate when cops are stupid because they're not trained to be dumb. And you get to see that John and Devin have this really great friendship, and they're both partners, and I just really enjoy writing Devin. He's a lot of fun, and he may hold about the same contempt for Devonshires as John does, but it's not as blatant and it's not as forceful. Devin kind of understands where they're coming from, and we get more into that in the season with his father and how his dad was cop too. And can I just point out, I'm so glad Chris wrote John. Chris was so nervous about John. John is actually an idea for my husband. I'm shouting out to my husband. Dan came to me and said, "You had this really great character. Please make him important." And he gave John this really awesome backstory. And I told Chris about it. Honestly, it changed the entire plans, I guess, so to speak, that Chris and I had originally thought of. So, and I really like John, and I love how Chris writes him. And so, shout out to my husband.
I can write bitches and old women and old bitches with great curls, and I can write the mean characters. I'm so scared of the good guys and all that. So that was one thing Kelly was like, "You can do it," and I was like, okay. And finally, when I wrote them, it felt natural. So I'm really glad I took John on. You know, a lot of my characters genuinely lean towards the naughty side, and John is a character that is actually one I really enjoy writing because he is a good guy. He's just an all-around good guy, and I really like that. The next thing would probably be Jackie and...
Yeah, I can talk about that, Anderson.
Okay.
Scene 7 was Jackie and Anderson at Lakai. Lakai is actually a restaurant here in Utah, and I kind of stole the name and put it in Pennsylvania. It's a really fancy French restaurant here, and I thought it would be kind of neat to show there's this upclass place that people go to. Alice Falls is a 20,000 people town. I wanted to make it a bigger city. It's fictional. In between Philadelphia and I don't know what other towns.
Pittsburgh, wasn't it?
What?
Was it Pittsburgh?
I think so. It might be in between both of them. I'd have to go look at my fake map that I made. It's very sad. sad, I know. But I wanted it. One of the things that I really struggled with in Westlake, and I told Chris this, was it was such a small town that there was not really a lot to do or go on. And Jackie in this episode, you kind of get a little bit of her secret going on, in that she is actually been secretly meeting with Anderson and having these small little get-together dates / lunches and dinners, and I guess people could consider that cheating. But, however, she actually doesn't act on those feelings towards the end of the episode when Anderson kisses her. So, they've kind of had this friendship, and apparently David's gonna melt down. They've had this friendship where they've gotten together and been talking about possibly moving forward, and I thought it was important to showcase that Jackie feels that she's just a wife. Like, there's nothing else to her at this point. And having her involved with Anderson was a good idea. Apparently he's broken.
Patrick feels that Anderson and Jackie aren't gonna make it. That's what
Yep.
he's saying.
He's like, no way.
Patrick is saying Anderson and Jackie aren't making it anywhere.
Here, play with your toy. Alright, toy. Good. Sorry, baby toys. It was important for me to show that she really feels that right now that she wants something else for herself. And she's starting to realize that she gave up a part of her career and really her passion when she married Lowell. And I guess that's coming back to...
Okay.
I always say it differently when I'm writing in my head. But I really feel that she feels that she needs something more at this point. She's done raising all of her kids are grown up, they're all moved on, and even though all of her kids are going through all this crap too, she really feels that her and her husband are at a place where they're just not good anymore, I guess you could say. That she feels that she has no career. She's basically a trophy wife. She goes to meetings, she does fundraisers, but there's nothing really that she does for herself anymore. And I think that was really important to show that Anderson and her have built this friendship / relationship where he is really trying to bring that out in her, I guess you could say, and really pressuring her to leave her husband. And I'll let Chris talk about Anderson real quick.
Anderson was created in many ways to be, if you're a Young and the Restless fan in a way, to be the Jack Abbott to Victor Newman. He's supposed to be always a thorn in Lau's side, and he's always supposed to be this guy who's always around and always pushes this family's button. And what I really enjoy about Anderson is he has so much depth to him underneath all of the glamour that you see as the mayor, that he has his family, his mother and father were murdered. He took in his little brother and his little sister. He married. He's now divorced. He has a child. And now his little sister is living in Chicago with his ex-wife. He has all those issues inside him. He kind of suppresses them to be this playboy. And he kind of hides a lot of his emotions deep inside of himself, and that's something that I love playing with. He's also kind of an asshole, and I love that about him.
He's a jerk.
Anderson is sneaky, and I'm enjoying his sneakiness. And he wants more than anything to prove to this town that the Devonshires don't make this town, the Kincaids do. And that's more his own feelings because he's been in this town for generations, and his family has, and he wants to prove that the Devonshires didn't just move into Atlas Falls and create this wonderful metropolis that you see now for you. It was the Kincaids, and that's something that's really driving him, and I think that's part of the reason he's after Jack. Maybe he actually loves her, maybe not, who knows, maybe he actually kind of likes her, maybe he's using her to get it along, we don't know, And I think it's on me, right, Kelly?
Unless you want me to do Bliss and Aura, can you do that next one?
Um, you can do Bliss now. Yeah. And
um,
I'll add a little 2 cents to that.
Bliss and Auric arrive in um, Atlas Falls, and you're not really sure why they're there. Part of the mystery that we wanted this season was that we wanted to incorporate a lot of different genres. So they're kind of more our con people, con artists, if you would say. And I've actually never played a con artist before. So when I chose to take Auric, it was different. It was a good writing for me. I don't like playing bad guys. My only crazy person and bad person I ever played was Jessica and Westlake, and she was totally batshit crazy. So, I'm always nervous when I have to take on these like really complex like bad con people, and it's different. I like their vibe. They're very sexy. They're very mysterious, and right away you learn that they've kind of been doing this whole con thing for a few years. And they have a mysterious benefactor who's paid for them to come to Atlas Falls to actually cause wreck and havoc for the Devonshire family. And in this scene, we really pick out that they're going to target Max and Hunter. And if you read the previous scene, you know that Max and Hunter are really struggling in their marriage. And when you are struggling in your marriage, temptation is going to open up the door, and you're going to really fall into possible bad patterns. And I really like the story. It's something different. I don't think I've ever really seen a con story like what we're doing on another series. And so, is it love? Is it going to be love in the future? I can't say, but I like playing them. I like their first introductory scene where they're working together, and you really feel that connection between them. And I think not only for their marks will it be tested, but for them too. And that's very good and very grounded, I think. So.
I when we put out a press release, if you've been watching the Blissful website, we told you that we had a main protagonist by the name of Bliss, and that's one thing I really wanted to stress. Watch her character. We didn't just name her Bliss for anything.
Just to name her.
We didn't just name her that for anything. So, like Kelly said, I don't think I've been in the web serial world just for like 2 years now, and I haven't seen quite a story that comes from what Bliss and Eric does yet. And I've been reading a few serials. I won't say who's with me, but I've been reading a few serials, and I've never seen a story quite like this. And I'm really enjoying the layers that it's slowly taking. Like she said, the temptation that's there between these 4 characters actually does a lot for the series. And keep your eyes on this. That's all I'm going to say. And I think the final scene...
No, we got 2 more.
Oh, one more?
We got 2.
It's 2 more? Okay. Yeah. What's the next one?
Jackson at the bar.
Okay. So, I guess I'll do Jackson and Glory Road, as we call them, the whole set of characters, except Braden. He's not really brother.
Braden's just a cranky older brother.
Right, Braden's the cranky older brother. Glory Road and Jackson. Jackson, actually, you'll find this out a little later, so spoiler alert, he heard a song by them, and it sent him to rehab. Hearing the song, which you're going to find out it has a connection to Danny also, sent him to rehab. That's the song, that's why he chose Glory Road to be his first group, and his first artist on his label. Because that song affected him so deeply. So, kind of like, hey, you're my group. I want you to be my first artist. And of course, Danny's like, hell no. You're the guy from high school.
Who's a jerk?
In high school. We're not totally not signing this contract. Jackson's like, no, I'm clean, I'm sober. Listen, let me talk to you guys, and let me see what you guys got, and I'll let you know if I can really sign you to a record label. And I think you kind of see seeds of a romance possibly blooming with two Jackson and Danny, which we wanted. Um, and everybody like go and get the popular guy. I mean, that's something we're playing with the series. Don't you want to go back and when you want if the guy's dreams came and just walked into the door and said, "I'm gonna offer you a record label," you would take it because he's the guy of your dreams, and at one point he was all she thought about. So that's something we're playing with. Like we said, growing up is a big part of this season where they have to let go of high school and say hello to adulthood. Even though they're adults, they just haven't said bye to that period that all of them have held on so tightly to. And I loved Braden apprehension. Kelly plays Braden. Jackson, of course. I don't think was Ryan in this thing.
Briefly, I think we touched that they were there. Yeah,
they were there, and
they're more in episode 2, I think. Yeah.
Whitney at the end, she's calling Braden a spoil sport, and we really want you guys to understand that Glory Road is a unit. When you see one of the characters, generally you're going to see another one of those characters
kind of
right around.
How they roll.
And they have specific roles. Like I would say, Ryan's the troublemaker, and Zach's the problem solver. Danny is Whitney.
There's Whitney.
He is Whitney. And I really enjoy Whitney's character. I can't wait till you guys start digging into her. She has a lot of great stuff coming up, and Danny possibly is living Jackson, so it possibly can, lead to bigger stories for her, possibly. Another thing that I really liked in this scene is that you saw that Jackson has done damage in this town. He's done some things. Everybody's like, there's no way this dude is a record label executive.
Like, really? The druggie?
Yeah, really the drug addict. We had a thing recently where we wrote, and somebody called him like an ex-drug user.
It was Devin. He was like, really?
Out there, Jackson was pretty troubled. And what I really like is Jackson doesn't shy away from that time, and he's not gonna neglect that time in his life. It was a piece of him, and that's a really good part of Blissful that I really want to explore. But you're gonna actually be seeing me and Kelly are writing. I don't think we have titles, and we're gonna actually just add little pieces so you'll hear the song.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So,
I'm gonna interrupt. Okay. When Chris, was it in April that I was down in Texas, and you're like, I have this great idea for this new show, and I was like, okay, let's brainstorm. I was on vacation, isn't that sad? But I really wanted to do a music storyline, and I know that sounds like totally corny for like any web soap, but I really wanted to do it. I listen to music. I've played guitar and piano in the past. I always like kind of wanted to like have this like little group / record label where you could explore music in different genres. I can't write a song to save my life. So like Chris said, we're gonna work on it in the next few weeks and kind of get a few like I guess you'd say lyrics for their supposed songs that they're gonna do. But I think it starts out as music, and then you'll see as the series goes, don't fall over, baby, that they really evolve. Like, they go from being this like unit to growing up, and I like that we really focus on the growing up part of season 1. I don't know why we keep saying that, but I love growing up. I think it's as you grow older, your dreams and your priorities really change. And would you agree with that?
I agree with that, and I think the growing up part of it is that they have to. They've been adults. It's just that now they have to make the right choices in their
Yeah,
lives.
the big choices.
Yeah, make choices. So I think that's the interesting part. Like we said, a part of them now that they're all in Atlas Falls feels stuck in high school. Like this is high school all over
Again.
again.
But different, because now it's like things are coming true for them, and it's different. And I think Chris and I discussed our pilot episode, and I'm just going to talk about this real quick, that a lot of pilots start with a huge opening and a huge party or something, and we didn't want that. We wanted it to be slow and grounded and down to earth, and it kind of goes back to the theme song that this is home for them. That this is where they've all grown up and they all live, and now that certain characters their dreams are coming true, they have to face really tough decisions. Like, do they sign the deal? Does Chauncey actually run for mayor now that he's having an affair? Does Jackie leave her husband? Does Max take the script? Do Oric and Bliss fit in now? And I think it's just a really good pilot. I really I hope people like Glory Road. It was a lot of fun to like kind of come up with their concept, and I really like this scene. And
I did too.
Chris touched on Brayden, and Brayden's really special. He's that annoying older brother, and I totally can relate to him. I'm the oldest of three siblings, and so I totally get that protectiveness and that whole, hey, if you mess with my sibling, I'm gonna kick your ass type thing. And he's definitely like apprehensive about the Devonshires, any of them like offering him or his sister anything, and that's their background. We get into more of that later. But it's really interesting to see it and say, oh, well, ow, don't bite me. That's not what we said, but baby just bit me. That hurt. Anyway, okay, let's hear out this last scene up real quick before the baby has a meltdown. The last scene of the show, Lowell and Jackie summon all their kids together, and I thought this was a really good scene in that Lowell is ready to retire, actually. Chris wrote that very well, that he wants to retire and spend time with his wife. And he offers it to his kids who are like, WTF, this can wait till morning? Like, really, dude? And they're all brats! Which I love about them. It totally shows their spoiled side, and Mac's like, dude, whatever, I have this, like, acting career, and Chauncey's like, I'm running for mayor, and Rory's secretly going, okay, I could sneak in and take this opportunity. I think Rory's the only one not a brat about it. Like, and Jackson's more like, whatever, dude, I'm starting a record label, and it was just a really, I thought it was a fun way to end the episode of, oh, well, that's like a 180 on the company aspect of it, and it was important to show the company is a family business too. I thought that he wants to pass it on to his children, not some CEO that's on the board or something like that. So I'll let Chris talk a little on it. Apparently someone needs a nap again.
Well, he's so ready to give up the corporate struggle, the corporate climb he's done. He's built these businesses out of nothing, and he's built his life out of basically nothing after losing his family at a young age. So it's really kind of starting to bother him to see his wife drifting away. He doesn't want to have that happen, and I think I show that very well when he says, I want to retire. This is what I want to do. I don't want to be here in this company for the rest of my years of on Earth.
Yeah, and he wants to spend it with his wife. I think that's so beautiful as a married person, just saying.
And I think one thing about Lowell is trying to pass the torch to them is they are being completely, as Kelly said, brats about this whole situation. And they're all like, Chauncey's like, no. Jackson's like, I just got out of rehab. And I think Max is like, I am
like
an actress. And they just don't really all care. They don't really care to see that he wants to give them beautiful opportunity to keep their family legacy going. And I don't think it is until they get almost attacked that they'll see that Lowell is not on his A game at this moment because maybe something is a little lady in some water maybe is throwing him off, and you're just really gonna see Lowell have to fight to get his kids interested in this business because he's pampered them so much. And Chauncey has his own dreams. Mac has hers. Jack has his, but at the end of the day, he feels like family should be what holds their unit together, and this business has given them all these opportunities. So one of you should have the respect to step up and take over. And that's what I think was going through Lowell's mind. And Jackie's probably looking at him like he's effing crazy. Our kids aren't ready for this. And he's looking like they need to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to step down. And then once the company goes public, it splits up all y'all money. And that's what, and I think that's coming up in the theme where he says, if I let the company go public, y'all money is gone. Your trust funds are going to be. And I think they're starting to get that's gonna push them like I don't know. I'm not gonna say.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. But I can wrap this up really nice and neatly by saying please keep reading.
Yes.
Because the series takes on a lot of different genres. The only one I don't think we're doing is Supernatural.
Dang. No. I think I'd be a little too far out of it. Yeah.
The only one I don't think we're doing. But the way we do a lot of our genre mixing is really unique, and it stays to the Blissful's brand.
Yes.
It stays to the Blissful brand, and I'm enjoying working with Kelly. I hope you guys are enjoying reading because it's an absolute blast to write, and it's so fun. And that's it for me. Kelly, you can close it out.
Like Chris said, it's definitely different. I could not produce by myself anymore. If you notice him, he's very loud, he's everywhere. It was really hard for me to end Westlake. But on the other hand, I knew that I couldn't produce something and do it well by myself. So when Chris came to me and we started planning this new series, I was totally on board. I need to write. It's my outlet for a crazy day or crazy month with the baby eating something he's probably not supposed to be. But he really pushed me to say, you're a writer, go back to writing. And I did. And that's, I love that we feed off each other as writers. And we've been doing that for years in RPGs and various different aspects. That, yeah, we're cool like that.
Yeah, it's
it's natural, I guess you'd say.
It's a really
Chris is my writing soulmate.
Kelly, yes. Kelly, I met her doing an RPG, and I came in at the tail end of the RPG, of the story and the RPG. But and I saw her, and she was writing this kick-ass character, and I can't reveal the character's name because it possibly might be showing up on Blissful. But that's a little hint. But I took the character, and I read the character, and I was obsessed with her. She was like the most kick-ass character I've ever seen. And I'm like, you're amazing. And after we start talking, our friendship just bloomed. And I appreciate Kelly so much because she helped me as a writer. And I just really love what we do on Blissful. Like, I take her cues and she takes mine. If a scene is supposed to be smaller, or she visions a scene smaller where the argument isn't so big, we don't make it big. And we take cues off of each other very well. And like she said, we feed off each other's energy, which is really, really cool. And writing together is always a pleasure. And The best part of Blissful is Kelly, and I want you guys to realize that because she kicks ass. I want you guys to really take in that we're writing different characters. So one second you might get me writing this character, and the next second you might get her, which is really cool. It's not that we flip flop. We have our main, but our NPC and characters that are just there for one episode, we both might write.
Yeah.
And you might get a different take of a character. I might like a character, so tell me. We want to hear from you guys, and we want to hear what you all think about the premiere of Blissful. And we love you guys.
And we'll be back next week.
We'll be back.
Yeah. We'll.
Episode 2, Dark Side.
Yay!
So we'll see.
It's all ready to go.
I'm hot.
All right, we're gonna close the call so for Chris gets naked or something like that.